When the echoes of the Titanomachy finally faded, the universe did not erupt in celebration. There was no triumphal silence, no sense of completion. Instead, existence seemed to pause, as if unsure how to move forward after such immense destruction. Olympus stood untouched by the scars below, high above a world still trembling from divine conflict. Zeus and the Olympians had secured power, but power itself felt different now. It was no longer seized through raw force alone. It had been divided, negotiated, and balanced. The cosmos, once ruled by fear of succession, entered an unfamiliar phase. For the first time, the universe was not frozen under a single will. Yet it was not at peace either. Order had returned, but it was fragile. Beneath the calm surface, tension lingered. Something fundamental had changed. The universe had learned how to survive war. Now it had to learn how to live. Mount Olympus became the center of this new reality. Unlike the Titans' rule, Olympus did not dominate the world from within it. It hovered above creation, distant and observant. From this height, the Olympian gods watched the world unfold rather than smothering it beneath absolute control. Zeus ruled the sky, but he did not rule alone. Power was shared among his siblings, each governing a domain essential to existence. This division was not an act of kindness, but necessity. The gods had learned that concentrated power inevitably decayed into tyranny. Olympus represented a compromise between order and freedom, yet even here, harmony was imperfect. Rivalries formed. Pride clashed with duty. The gods argued, not as rebels, but as rulers learning the cost of authority. Olympus was stable, but it was never still. And in that motion, the future quietly took shape. The Olympian order differed fundamentally from all that came before it. Under Uranus, power was distant and cruel. Under Cronus, it was preserved through fear. Under Zeus, power became conditional. Authority now depended on balance rather than domination. Each god ruled a realm, yet none ruled the whole. This separation prevented stagnation, but it also introduced conflict. Decisions could be challenged. Loyalties could shift. Power, once fixed, became fluid. The universe was no longer held together by force alone, but by fragile agreements. This new structure allowed creation to grow, but it also ensured that tension would never disappear. Order now required constant maintenance. The Olympians had inherited chaos in a new form, not as emptiness, but as uncertainty. Stability was no longer guaranteed. It had to be earned again and again through restraint and compromise. With the Olympians firmly in place, time itself began to change. Under the Titans, time had been cyclical and stagnant, endlessly repeating without consequence. Now time moved forward. Events mattered. Choices shaped outcomes. The universe no longer reset itself after each conflict. Memory began to accumulate. The past carried weight. For the first time, existence experienced progression. This shift transformed the cosmos in a subtle but irreversible way. Change was no longer an enemy to be suppressed. It became a defining force. Yet time, moving forward, required something new to give it meaning. Eternity alone could not fill it. A world ruled entirely by immortals would remain detached from urgency. Something fragile had to enter existence. Something that could feel the passage of time. Something that could lose what it loved. Only then would time truly matter. As the gods shaped their realms, a quiet necessity emerged within creation. The universe needed beings who could not endure forever. Immortality had stabilized the cosmos, but it could not give it depth. Eternity felt no urgency. It felt no fear of endings. The Olympians, eternal by nature, could not fully experience the consequences of time. The universe required contrast. It required lives measured not in ages, but in moments. This realization did not arrive through compassion. It emerged through imbalance. Time now flowing forward, demanded something that could be lost. Only then could meaning arise. Thus, the concept of mortality approached the stage of creation, not as punishment, but as necessity. The cosmos prepared itself for beings who would live briefly, love intensely, and disappear completely. The universe was ready to feel. Humanity entered the cosmos quietly. There was no thunder, no declaration from Olympus. Mortals emerged fragile and unremarkable beside the gods. They possessed no divine strength, no eternal youth, no command over nature. Yet they carried something entirely new. Humans experience time differently. Every moment mattered because it could not be repeated. Love carried risk. Loss carried permanence. Unlike the gods, humans could not undo their mistakes through eternity. Their lives unfolded as single, unbroken paths. This fragility gave birth to meaning. The universe, once vast and impersonal, now contained stories that could end. Creation had gained stakes. Mortality transformed existence from a structure into a narrative. The cosmos had found its witnesses. The Olympian gods watched humanity with fascination and unease. Mortals lived beneath them, unaware of the forces shaping their fate. Some gods felt curiosity, others felt contempt.
Yet it is never enough.
Humans were unpredictable, driven by emotion rather than cosmic balance.
Ants crawling in the dust.
Their suffering disturbed the gods, yet their resilience intrigued them. Mortals faced dangers the gods never truly could. They risked everything with every choice. The gods began to intervene, sometimes to protect, sometimes to punish, sometimes simply to observe the outcome. Olympus, once distant, grew closer to the world below. Divine attention altered human destiny. The age of pure cosmic myth quietly transformed into the age of relationships between gods and mortals. Divine intervention reshaped human existence. Blessings elevated some, curses destroyed others. Favor became as dangerous as neglect. Mortals who attracted the attention of gods were pulled into conflicts far beyond their understanding. Love from Olympus could ruin a life as easily as it could save one. The gods did not agree on how humans should be treated. Zeus ruled, but he did not control every decision. Olympus became divided over humanity's role. Were mortals experiments, companions, or pawns? These disagreements planted the seeds of future tragedies. Humanity had entered a world governed by immortal passions. Their lives would never be simple again. Unlike the gods, humans were bound by fate. Their lives followed paths they could not fully escape. Destiny became a defining force. Mortals struggled against it, sometimes defying the gods themselves. Yet fate always demanded its price. This tension between choice and inevitability shaped the human condition. The gods observed this struggle with mixed emotions. They saw reflections of their own conflicts, played out on a smaller scale. Humanity became the stage upon which cosmic themes were reenacted. Through human lives, the universe explored its own contradictions. Chaos had not disappeared with the rise of Olympus. It returned through human emotion. Passion, jealousy, ambition, and fear echoed the primordial forces that once shaped the cosmos. Humans carried chaos within themselves. Their unpredictability mirrored the universe's earliest state. Order and disorder coexisted within mortal lives. This made humanity both fragile and powerful. Through humans, chaos found a new expression, not as emptiness, but as inner conflict. Creation continued its cycle on a smaller, more intimate scale. As humanity grew, the limits of divine power became clear. The gods could influence fate, but not erase it. They could guide events, but not control every outcome. Mortals sometimes resisted divine will. Tragedy occurred even under the gods' watchful eyes. Olympus was powerful, But it was not absolute. The universe remained beyond full control. This realization unsettled the gods. Power, once unquestioned, now revealed its boundaries. Olympus ruled the cosmos, but it could not perfect it. With humanity, existence became personal. Stories replaced structures. Individual lives mattered. Loss was felt, not absorbed into eternity. The universe, once abstract, now carried emotion. Creation became intimate. Through human eyes, the gods themselves gained meaning. Worship, fear, love, and defiance reshaped divine identity. Olympus no longer stood above the world alone. It stood in relation to it. Tragedy emerged naturally from this new balance. Mortality ensured that joy would end. Divine intervention ensured that suffering would deepen. Human lives became stories of hope and loss. These stories did not weaken the cosmos. They defined it. The universe accepted tragedy as part of growth. Meaning required sacrifice. Creation advanced through pain as much as through order. With gods and humans intertwined, myth found its true form. No longer confined to cosmic events, myth became personal. Heroes would rise, cities would fall, love would challenge fate. The universe prepared itself for legends born from mortality. Olympus had created a world where stories could be told. The Olympian order endured, but it was never guaranteed. Power could shift again. Rebellion remained possible. The universe remembered its cycles. Chaos lingered, waiting. Order required vigilance. Creation was always unfinished. Humanity reflected the cosmos back to itself. In mortal lives, the universe saw its own conflicts replayed. Love and destruction, hope and despair, creation and collapse, all existed within the human experience. Mortals became the universe's mirror. With humanity established, the stage was set. Prometheus would soon challenge the gods. Fire would change everything.
Yet we remain.
The age of heroes and tragedy approached. The story was far from over. The age of Olympus did not end chaos. It transformed it. The age of mortals did not diminish the gods. It gave them purpose. From an empty void came existence. From existence came order. From order came conflict. And through mortality, meaning was born. The universe had learned how to tell its story, and that story had only just begun.